Welcome to Chapter 5 of Ikenai Kanojo no Otetsudai with your local scanlators, Tom and Aiden. Tom, how are you doing today?
Local scanlators, it's like friendly neighborhood scanlators, dude. Get it? Just like the other comics, Western comics.
Dude, I get it. I love Bugman comics. They're great.
Yep. Well, manga's not much better. It's better because, you know, it's refined Japanese aesthetics, but it's still bad.
Much higher taste.
Yes, of course.
Where did we leave our heroes off?
I don't remember. I think last chapter was Hanako. Hanako in her introduction, and that was a very strange one, definitely.
Yeah, she had some bathwater tendencies.
Yeah, honestly, I think bathwater would be more acceptable. But this is a more return to form, I think, in a way. More kind of slice of life, and we'll get into it. So right now I'm noticing a problem in panel 1 of page 1.
Uh-oh.
It's just a mistake I made. I removed the name of the temple, but I forgot to scanlate one back in. Oops. And off the top of my head,
Temple Genkusai.
Yeah, I don't know what the name is off the top of my head. Sure, I don't know what that's a reference to, but that's what it is.
And it's a Toho reference. That's the only temples I know.
Ah, cool. Based. I think this is kind of an interesting start because it shows that Yohei's hair is normal as like his default. So he clearly spikes it up. I thought in all anime, hair spikes were like...
natural. Genetic, yeah.
I don't know. Default natural. Yes.
Now we get the behind-the-scenes look at Yohei. And it looks like he's got a typhoon coming. And he's like, Dad, this has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing. But do you think typhoons affect spirits? And his dad's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, the irony here is like his dad doesn't believe in ghosts, but he's like a priest and they live in a temple or on a temple, or whatever the technicalities of that is. I think they might explore the family later on, but this is a nice taste of it, I think.
And here we see cute, adorable girls getting blasted by the wind.
Yep, yeah, and I really like, taking a page out of your book, I like the little chibi kind of face on the big panel there.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's a great expression.
The pure distress. Yeah. It's touching that Yohei was so concerned he had to go check up on his favorite ghost girl.
I've lost everything. But it's like, you didn't have a lot. That was it.
And it was the school's property to begin with. Like, she had nothing, essentially. Like, she's continuing the trend of her being just absolutely pathetic, but in a cute way.
I mean, she's been dead for decades, right? Like, is this the first typhoon they've had, the first time she thought to bring things inside?
You know, that's a good question. I don't think she's been dead for decades. I'm under the impression it's only been in like a couple years at most. They might have said it at one point, I just don't remember. But it's pretty recent, I think.
I thought it was that she had weird tastes and things that were like old school.
Not quite. She's actually pretty
modern, trendy.
Pretty contemporary, I would say, with a lot of her tastes, as we'll see soon enough. Here's the obligatory wet t-shirt.
Obligatory 60-year-old man in a girl's body. She's acting like a old man. It's always great to have the wet t-shirt, although our main ghost girl is wearing a blazer and everything. It's not like you can get good view.
Well, that's why I think the art focuses on Hanako. Especially in that panel where she's like leaning over.
I like her face in the third panel. That's a good one.
Like the final panel there.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Yohei isn't interested in her at all, but she's like so sure of herself. She's like, yeah, you know, I guess, yeah, I'm too seductive for you to, you know, lay your eyes on. I'm too much of a distraction.
What's interesting now is like they can change all of their outfits, and what I caught from this is that like they can also change their physical appearance.
I kind of assume that as well, but I don't think they ever do. I mean, technically, like Rinko does change into like that big hair octopus thing, so I think that is an extension of this.
Well, I think later in the chapter they say more things like you can envision your like perfect body or something like that, and so I'm gonna call it now. Hanako is 60-year-old man that's just taking on the form of a girl.
I want that so badly. That would be so funny. A nice subversion of the fat old man trope.
Well, I mean, this is super common in the idea that a dude gets reincarnated as like a little girl. That's a pretty common one.
Yeah, it is. I can name at least one, so I know there's got to be like 24 extras.
Exactly. There we go. Here's Rinko being adorable. And then look at her socks. That's kind of weird. Those are kind of cool pattern.
Yeah, her socks are always drawn like that. I think it's like a ghost imagery type thing.
Interesting.
Like it's supposed to give the idea that she's like fading out. Hanako's do that too if you look in the bottom panel. Like I think it's to imply that they're ghosts.
Interesting. I thought it was just a stylistic choice.
Well, I think it's a stylistic representation of that, but I know what you mean. I'm just being difficult.
Being pedantic, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So Rinko doesn't know how to do her little mind thought transformation thing, but Hanako does. So like, did Hanako figure that out on her own one day, or did somebody, like another ghost, teach her? You know, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night.
I would guess learned it on her own, just because if you've got 60 years to screw around with your ghost powers, you're going to learn some stuff.
I kind of landed on that assumption as well, but it's something to think about.
Catching herself a cold, we get an amazing new outfit.
And very new, too, because this was pretty contemporary for the time. It's, I think, fallen out of vogue nowadays, but that sweater was pretty popular for a hot minute there.
You know, I don't think that sweater is going to provide very much warmth, though.
No, and I think that's why she's still cold, in fact. I love their reaction, so like the lightning shock or whatever, like the top left.
That's one of my favorite tropes.
Yeah.
We can see she's going through all the different cosplay outfits. Yeah. You even got like an iDubbbz right there. Miku, sailor outfit.
I thought the iDubbbz, as you call it, I think that's supposed to be Tingle, but without breaking any kind of trademark copyright stuff.
Well, you know, in Japan, they actually have outfits like that. Like, that's a common costume. It's not just Tingle, yeah. Tingle was based off of, like, a real clown suit.
Oh, okay. So then it might be a more generic one. I think the top right is probably generic, too. I don't recognize it necessarily as anything in particular.
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be like a schoolgirl uniform.
Bottom right, I don't know who that is either. Just a random maid, do you think? I think it looks more particular, more like specific.
I think it might just be a maid, or I can't tell.
Yeah, that one really bugged me because I couldn't figure it out. And then the next two are fighting game characters, of course.
You see her, I love the expression that she's got in the middle panel where she's just on the ground, like destroyed. I can't picture any normal girl clothes. Well, what kind of stuff do you normally look at? Like,
that's what I want to know. And like, how does she get access to? Like, she can somehow buy stuff from stores. She can somehow go to movie theaters, which I think they retcon that later. I think kind of you're not supposed to think that hard about the internal logic behind this universe.
But you think about it, like some kids leave their manga somewhere lying around and she picks it up. Maybe that's where she finds it. Like they stash their magazine somewhere.
Yeah, that could be. Or games or whatever.
And we got Hanako clapping. It's like, it's beautiful.
She's like moved to tears. So this is one where I think I made a mistake here.
Uh-oh.
I kind of went back and forth saying, like, in this top panel here where he says, how's about we worry about getting you dried off for now? I don't know if I should have said how about or how's about. I think how's about might, the more I reread it, it sounds like it's trying to be like some kind of weird Italian, like, hey, how's about we do this, Tony? But it's like,
hey, Tony, wooden doors.
Yeah, great. But I can read it in a way to where it makes sense in my head. I just hope that other people can as well, because it does seem kind of out of place, I think.
I mean, it makes sense. I think you could have gone either way, and it would have been fine.
Well, that's what I'm banking on.
I'm so cold, I'm shivering. That's a SpongeBob reference.
I'm so cold, I can use my, what was it, like snot as...
Nose drippings as a pair of chopsticks.
Yep, that's what it was, yep. Which doesn't really make sense. I don't think you're ever that cold that you can't even hold a towel, but I don't know. She's a frail ghost girl in an anime, so who am I to say? But I love how her doing that just like sets off another one of those like exaggerated reactions.
Yeah, that's great.
And then it's like, it's so like impactful that Yohei's got to drag Hanako out of the room to like have a talk with her, because he knows it's like, this is too much for her to handle.
What were you going to do with the towel when you're done? It's like, I'm going to keep it as a souvenir.
I love that face she's making where she's going to like wring it out. And then, so the implication here in the original Japanese, the original text, if you will, she was going to drink it. They use the word hosu, which normally means like to dry, but it could also mean like to drink, like, you know, you would say like bottoms up, like if you're like, you know, drinking a lot. And that was, there's no verb obviously in English that has both meaning. I kind of implied that she would drink it. I didn't outright state it. I'm
trying to think of like, what would you do to an orange? You would like squeeze it out, you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Like wring it out. Well, like what do you do to an orange when you're making juice? You like squeeze the juice out. You wring the juice out.
Or you juice it. Yeah.
You could have said, I'll keep it as a souvenir and juice every last drop out of it or something. I don't know, but
yeah, see, it's tough. Yeah. I kind of like having it open-ended, because then I'm sure some readers are really messed up and they'll come up with even worse ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that fits Hanako's characterization.
As we've seen from the comments, we allow you to imagine what the future will be, so you can build your own character around it. It's like a blank slate, tabula rasa. I like the fact that it's like not even that she's keeping it as a souvenir. That's the weird part. He's like, yeah, but then what are you gonna do with it? Like, there's a whole other level. We're already past the sale of the first weird part. Yeah. We're going into like, okay, then what? Like,
yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, this is what, her second chapter, and it's already well accepted how messed up she is.
Already par for the course with Sasuke here.
Yep.
It's just a good picture of her drying herself off with her hair. This is just a good outfit. I normally don't like the short haircuts on girls, but this one's alright, especially because she can extend it into have like...
Well, here's a random piece of trivia that I learned the other day, just completely unrelated to this. The character she's based off of was meant to originally be a very androgynous character, maybe even a male, I don't quite remember.
Yeah, I think it's that one and Poison. I think they're from the same game. It's like Darkstalkers or Street Fighter or something.
Yeah, I think Poison might be Street Fighter, and then Lilith, this one is Darkstalkers, yeah.
I like the Devil's Succubus motif. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a classic for sure.
And the Japanese definitely have a very specific take on it.
They do, yeah. It's a very Japanese look for sure.
And I love like the small wings and stuff, like things like you can compare like a Japanese succubus to like World of Warcraft succubus. It's like way different.
Disgusting. Western succubi are just disgusting. They're just like purple women. It's like
sometimes, yeah. Like if you're looking at like old school like Darkstalker comics or something like it's not very good. I've seen some do it well, but most of the time they're adapting like a Japanese motif to their own Western design. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but here we go. She's back to normal. Totally dry. It really is in all my imagination.
And I wonder what exactly was like the trigger here to make her go back to normal. Is it because she's dwelling on how pathetic she is and how everyone has to like help her out so much? That's kind of how I'm reading into it.
Yeah, that's how I read into it. It's like when she thinks about something else. You know, there's a thing where if you focus too much on something, you're not going to be able to do it. Like, you have to, like, let your mind... Like, that's how you fly in Hitchhiker's Guide. You forget that you're going to hit the ground, and you just kind of levitate.
Right. Well, I thought it was about missing. Trying to hit the ground, and then you miss.
Well, you miss because you're distracted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that now.
Here they are arguing again, and she's turned into ghost mode in the bottom. She's like, my ideal self. This is where I got the idea that they can change their looks because she's like, my ideal self. Like, what would that look like? So
the way I'm taking that is like, you can't completely change your form. Like, you couldn't be a 60-year-old man and then change yourself into like a high school girl. It's possible, maybe. But the way I'm reading into it, that's not what it means. It's more like, she wants to just power of positive thinking type. That's kind of what she's going for right now, as I see it.
When I was reading this, I was reading these pages, and I didn't realize this was the last page, and I was like, oh, is she going to transform into something crazy? Like, that's what I was hoping for.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
she was like in the zone. She's like, oh, I'm thinking, what's my ideal self? I was hoping it was going to be something very lewd or something like that. Or like a completely different form, or like a monster or something like that, but she ended up just sneezing.
Well, actually, in the next page, she does become her ideal self, and it is indeed a monster. It's an e-girl.
Huh. Well, that's the best transition to the end page we have here. Yeah, so if you didn't get this, it's talking about all the thirsty people just, I was going to use the word cooning, just trying to white knight and suck up to e-girls cosplays.
So these are actually real comments on a real picture of a cami cosplay.
This is the deepest lore.
I did not edit any of the names other than the poster name herself. It was something cosplay. I made it Rinko cosplay, and I threw in an avatar, which doesn't even conform to the Instagram like circle picture style.
You should have found some like Indian ones or Sind Bobs, something like that.
I really wanted to, but
like these aren't even that thirsty. Like, I'm sure you could have found.
No, they're not. They're not. It was actually kind of hard to find cami cosplay pictures. I think because I misspelled it, or maybe this guy in the comments did. I don't know Street Fighter, so I spelled it I-E instead of Y. That could have been wrong.
You are stunning. My God. Like, it's just like, can you suck up more? Like, come on, man.
I know. Yeah, it's. I don't want to comment too much, just on the off chance that these people will see this video, but it speaks for itself.
So we've got some awesome comments this week. We had Septentrion says, guess she didn't have enough goods to pull off Felicia. Lilith is acceptable.
Felicia, of course, is like that very. I was gonna say like lightly dressed, but I don't know if she's dressed. That cat girl from Street Fighter with the blue hair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think it's actually her fur. But yeah.
I guess she's well-developed plot would be
Definitely.
the best way to. Yeah.
Yes.
We got Doki Doki says, LMAO, it's the Virgin Killer sweater. Yes, that's a fantastic sweater.
I forgot that's what it was called. That's funny.
I just made this to comment, says Naisu, Street Fighter and Darkstalkers reference. Good stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if this manga author is like a big fighting game fan. Because it seems like he did, like 6 different costumes, and 2 of them were from fighting games. Seems like a lot.
Aruketi says, and dropped. Why'd you drop it? What's wrong with this?
Wow.
What'd you do? What a bad take.
Terrible.
This is a good chapter.
Probably the only chapter he read was the previous one.
And he wanted the water
more urine.
fetish. Yeah, Need for Speed Razor 6 says, holy keck, a virgin killer. Yes.
Indeed.
Abu Hajar says, Lilith a cute. A cute. Yes, absolutely. That's one of my favorite little memes. Dreamy Robot says, the Lilith got me. Anyone willing to pay respects to Vsov that isn't Morgan. That is my hero. That's always time to.
I don't know what he means.
I don't know what he means either.
What did he mean by this?
Yeah, well, I think it's like a more in the know for that type of cosplay type of.
I think it's probably a Darkstalkers thing. I don't know VSA, but I don't know. I just don't know fighting games.
I don't either. Kuma says, girl, you can get more than friends. It's like, I'll be more than friends.
No kidding.
Tamberlane says, lesbian teases boy about getting flusters at a girl's appearance. Proceeds to immediately get wetter than she was in the rain. The caliber of people we're dealing with here, folks. Also, did anyone spot the iDubbbz reference? Yes.
I don't know if it's iDubbbz, to be fair.
It's technically not iDubbbz, but I made the joke as you saw.
I'll take it. Had I realized it, it would have been interpreted as maybe I would have as an iDubbbz cosplay.
Dr. Malison says, in reference to the dropper, he says, the fact that you dropped here instead of the last chapter, ... I don't know what to tell you. Coming in with a based reply. Good guy, Doctor.
This guy's based. You can tell he's our guy because he's Gurugamesh.
Absolutely.
Avatar.
And anybody who listening to this is definitely our guy. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this awesome chapter 5. This was a great chapter. I enjoyed it. Let us know if you liked it too.
Yep, I'm going to tease next chapter. There may or may not be a new girl introduced.
Oh, very fantastic.
Whoa.
I'm hyped for that. So get
Indeed.
hyped, and we will see you guys next week.
Nice.